with Walt DeYoung, and it's March 18th, 2015, and we're going to create a little channel for Walt and have him start telling his stories. So, Walt, what are you going to tell us today?
Well, first I want to tell you about my background.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we came to the United States because my great uncle ended up in jail on a demonstration in Friesland, which is northwest Holland. My father had just come at the age of 15, had sailed around the world on a three-masted schooner, and to get his brother out, and arrived in Leeuwarden, and in order to get his brother out of jail, he volunteered to go into the Dutch army, and they sent him to Indonesia, where he brought his offspring back with him to this country. But my great
His
uncle,
offspring from Indonesia?
yes.
Oh, wow. So you're Frisian Indonesian.
Well, I'm Frisian. I'm Frisian, German Frisian, Dutch Frisian. And the Frisians are the most freedom-loving people in the world. That's where the whole concept of freedom came for our country. On the north side of the Zuider Zee is a rock that says, "Better dead than a slave." When Caesar got up into Friesland as he was conquering Europe, he said, "I never met such stupid people. You can outnumber them 100 to 1, they will not surrender." And that's very deep in our genes, to fight for justice and decency for all. And that's where the concept came from for the Magna Carta, from the tribal laws of the Frisians, which we became our constitution. And we're a very small country, very small part of Holland, and we're the laughing stock of Europe because we're so stubborn.
Gee, now I know where you get it.
And you know, as a young boy, when they cut the Sicilian neighbor off the high school team to put on the give the owner of the newspaper's kid his position, I had my own sandlot team. I had Bill Cucci, who was cut off the high school team, join my team. I challenged a high school team and beat the high school team. It gave me insight into, you've heard the saying, of course, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the amount of fight in the dog.
Right.
Well, when we went to play him, I said, "Bill," I was young, I was the captain, I was everything. I said, we received the ball. I said, "Okay, Bill, we're going to put a phalanx in front of you, and you're going to go for a touchdown the first play," which we did. We slaughtered the high school team with the sandlot team. But it gave me the courage to become a union organizer and stand up for what was right.
Okay, wait, let me take you back, because we were starting with with the Frieslandia and your background and all that. So
Right.
let's stay there, and then we'll get into union organizing later.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay, sounds good. The Frisians, in their oral history, and I firmly believe this, the word Friesland comes from the sky goddess Fry, F-R-Y. That's where we come from. We believe we came from the sky goddess Fry, and from Atlantis, and populated the world. As to improve the race of the world, this is really sounds like a real racist, but it happens to be what we were told to do as we came down from the sky goddess Fry. We're a unique group in the world, and the concept of freedom is so deep in us, and justice, that I had no choice, but I from day one, I've been standing up for what was right, and I knew what was right, starting with the Air Force, where I took on General MacArthur's, and I was the only one that spoke out against bombing China with 6 atomic bombs. So they took me out of the band and put me in a different air base in Mountain Home, where after they accused me of being a communist, then they offered me a direct commission and had me working in top secret. I got to Idaho, and at the Mountain Home Air Base there, and I went to Boise, got pretty drunk, had civilian clothes on, and I went to go get a cup of coffee at the Greyhound station, and I saw this sign: "We cater to white trade only." It made me livid. I said, "I want to speak to the manager." Of course, now I was drunk. So I knew she was going to call a cop, so I exited stage left and went back to the base, came back the next weekend with my uniform on, and then I said, "I want to speak to the manager." And the cops came and put me in jail in Boise. That's the first time I was in jail, and first time of many times in jail. And of course, I had a good sleep that night. I didn't have to get up for reveille. And around 10 o'clock, the air police came and got me, brought me back to the base and put me in the brig there. And the commanding officer came. Of course, I was a physical instructor at the time. And the commanding officer came and said, "Well, what are you doing here, Walt?" I told him, he said, "You're kidding." He said, "Sergeant, let him loose." And he called the mayor and said, Boise's off limits until that sign comes down. So the sign came down instantly. So just an instant. But, what one person can do if they have a little courage. Mm-hmm. Okay, then from there, I went to an all-black college and integrated basically by myself, organized and integrated the Eastern Shore of Maryland in 1953. Now, 53 is a long time before it became popular to become an integrationist. And it got pretty violent there. And one day I was driving back I moved to the campus because I had lived out in the country, but I got too many demonstrations out there against me, so I moved on to the black campus. And I'm coming back there from town one day when I just went to see the editor of the newspaper to tell him to stop teaming up on my letters to the editor. I said, give me a break. And he jumped out of the window. He thought I was coming to get him. I walked down the Dover, Delaware street, and people would run on the other side. They figured somebody was going to shoot me. They didn't want to get in the crossfire. So I'm driving down the street, and Dr. Holland, who was the president, he was Choo-Choo Holland from famous and at Cornell, stopped me. He says, "Walt, the Governor Boggs called. They want you out of the school here. You should go to the white college." I said, "Well, what'd you tell him?" He said, "Well, the governor said you were a revolutionary." I said, "What did you tell me?" He said, "No, I just told him that you were a genius and a very brilliant student." I said, "Well," he said, "and also there's supposedly the White Citizens Council and Ku Klux Klan are going to have a big demonstration here this weekend with burning the cross to get you out of here." I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He said, "Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. If they burn that cross, if you come with me, he said, we'll kick it down." I said, "That's fine with me." Mm-hmm. They never did show up. Anyway, I spent 4 years there in a black college, and it was an education in itself in many different ways. But after that, I
want to tell me a little bit more about like your childhood. Like, were your parents freedom loving, and did that they inspire that in you?
My father actually came here at the age of 15 and spoke 5 languages when he came here. And by the time, he worked in a sweatshop, and he slashed his arm with a straight knife. And it was Arrow shirt, actually, on River Street, Paterson, New Jersey. And the supervisor threw him a dirty rag and said, "Go home. If you live, you might come back and you might have a job." Okay? This is before
the unions.
Okay? No wonder then at the end of my 4 years in the black college, working full-time on integration besides getting an education, I graduated Phi Beta Kappa with highest honors. And then I I was interviewed by the Ladies Garment Workers Union, and also they guaranteed me a scholarship to Cornell for a doctorate, and everything paid for. And my wife at the time said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "Whichever official letter comes, we'll do." The next day, a letter comes from the ILG to report to their training institute in New York. So that's what I did. I didn't realize I was going to become a mafia fighter. because I thought I was going to be a labor organizer, which I was. But in New Jersey and throughout the country, your non-union factories pay off the mafia to protect them, which means to beat the hell out of people like me. So, like they just did in Cambodia a few months ago, when they have 500,000 garment workers tried to organize, they shot the organizers. Well, that's how they take care of that problem.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is leave this for the next video, because let's go into the you being a union worker. Okay, so let's conclude this chapter. It's a little bit of your early life,
okay,
and how you came to where you are, and then the next video we'll do union organizer Walt. How's that?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, say bye. Bye.